I'm Megan.
I'm Amaya.
I'm Emmy.
And we chose to do our project on the author Lois Lowry. The three books that we chose were Sun, The Giver, and Number of the Stars. Lois Lowry was born on March 20th, 1937 in Honolulu, Hawaii. Her father was a dentist in the army, so she traveled to a lot of places, and she actually spent part of her life growing up in Japan. She graduated from New York City High School, and then she went to Brown for 2 years. She then dropped out and got married at 19 and had 4 kids, and then later in her life she got a divorce. Her first novel is titled A Summer to Die, and it was a drama published in 1977. It's based on a true story of her sister. She has won a John Newbery Medal for her book The Giver in 1994 and Number of the Stars in 1990. And her book Goonie Bird Green won a Rhode Island Children's Book Award. 2 quotes that we really liked from The Giver were, "I have great honor," The Giver said, "so will you, but you will find that it is not the same as power." And the second one that we liked was, "The worst part of holding the memories is not the pain, it is the loneliness of it. Memories need to be shared."
Go.
The Giver, which is Lois Lowry's most famous book, was published in 1993 and it won the John Newbery Award in 1994. This book takes place in a dystopian future where a boy named Jonas lives in a perfect society where they have eliminated fear and hatred. Everyone is polite and follows all the rules, and at 12 years old, Jonas is assigned a job based on his skills or interests. Jonas has been assigned receiver of memory, and he discovers all of society's past. He learns about fear, love, hate, color, and more beautiful and frightening things that he only knows. He gets frustrated by his society because his community is so bland and meaningless, but now he understands passion and joy for life. So this is a video of Lois Lowry talking about her inspiration for writing The Giver.
Okay.
That's very rude.
Okay. Before I began to write this particular book, which was maybe the 20th I'd written or the 25th, my father was getting old, and I went often to visit him. But this particular visit, I realized that he was starting to lose his memory, and in particular, he had forgotten my older sister. His first child was a daughter, 3 years older than I, and she had died young. I had written a book earlier about that experience, but at any rate, this particular time, visiting my father, I showed him a picture in a photograph album, and he smiled and he said, "There you are with your sister," and then he suddenly said, "I can't remember her name." And I told him her name, and then he said, after a moment, "Whatever happened to her?" And I had to tell him about her death. And when I was driving my rental car back to the airport that day, I began to think about that, about what it would be like if we could somehow magically perhaps, or through science, control people's memories so that they wouldn't have to remember the terrible things that had happened in their lives. And my father had forgotten.
So the man shook his head. No, he said. "I'm not being clear. It's not my past, not my childhood, that I must transmit to you." He leaned back, resting his head against the back of the upholstered chair. "It's the memories of the whole world," he said with a sigh. "Before you, before me, before the previous receiver, and generations before him." Jonas frowned. "The whole world?" he asked. "I don't understand. Do you mean not just us? Not just the community? Do you mean elsewhere too?" He tried, in his mind, to grasp the concept. "I'm sorry, sir, I don't understand exactly. Maybe I'm not smart enough. I don't know what you mean when you say the whole world, or generations before him. I thought there was only us. I thought there was only us now. There's much more. There's all that goes beyond, and all that is elsewhere, all that goes back and back and back. I received all of those when I was selected, and here in this room, all alone, I re-experienced them again and again. It is how wisdom comes. It is how we shape our future." That quote is from The Giver, and we thought that excerpt was a really good representation of Lois Lowry and her work.
So the Giver is actually a quartet, and the second book of the Giver series is called Gathering Blue. This book follows Kira, and her life after her mother dies of a mysterious illness. And Kira was born with a damaged leg, and she worries that the council will not view her as self-sufficient, but her embroidery skills save her, and she slowly realizes that there is more to her than just embroidery.
The next book in this series is called Messenger, which was published in 2004. In this book, it continues the exploration of the dystopian society where individuality has been eliminated. This book follows Maddie, who serves as a message bearer for his society when he develops healing powers. People begin to want to use his powers for their own benefit. The final book is called Sun, which was published in 2012. It is the conclusion of the whole series. So in this dystopian society, the story is of Claire, a 12-year-old girl who is assigned to be the birth mother in her village. Birth mothers give birth to children and then they're assigned to the parents of the community. This story follows Claire as she tries to be with her son. She's also written this book called Number of Stars, which was published in 1989. So it's told from the point of a 10-year-old girl named Anne-Marie Johnson, whose story takes place in Copenhagen, Denmark, in September of 1943. This is the third year of the Nazi occupation in Denmark, and as the story follows Anne-Marie and the people around her, how the Nazi occupation of Denmark changes their lives. While Anne-Marie is a fictitious character, many of the people and events in this book are based on true stories, and this is a story of courage, hardship, and hope. Another book she's written is called The Willoughbys, which was published in 2008. So this humorous book focuses on 4 children with very irritable parents, and children decide they want to be orphans. The children are actually abandoned by their parents and are now raised by their nanny. This book is an old-fashioned parody that gives homage to many classic children's books.
Finding a Stranger, Say Goodbye, published in 1978. This book follows Natalie on her journey to find her birth mom. On her journey, she meets many kinds of people and realizes at the end, when her journey is over, she must say goodbye to a new friend she met along the way. A Summer to Die, published in 1977. This book is about how Meg and her older sister Molly move to a new town and how they deal with Molly being diagnosed with leukemia. This book that Lowry wrote was based on her relationship with her sister and is based on true events. The Silent Boy was published in 2003. Katie wants to become a doctor like her father. Their neighbor Jacob, who has autism and can't communicate well, comes to Katie and her father's barn to see the animals. Jacob tries to help a newborn child, hoping Katie will help him, like how Katie helps the barn animals. Gossamer, published in 2006, is a young adult fantasy book about where dreams come from. Lois Lowry confronts the question about dreams in this fantasy novel. She explores how dreams come to life and the horrors behind nightmares. This book follows a woman and a boy who try to uncover what's reality and what is imagination. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching.